Okay, in this video, getting past, God knows, the drivers, and please, if you're in my group, feel free to contact me and make me walk you over the steps directly, because it's a process that's quite weird and a little bit complex. I kind of wish there was like a little bar over here that just had all the variables and you know, was easier to use. But anyway, what can we do except add install add-ons that may or may not work? Anyway, for organization, we've already gone over the basics of organization. I'm just going to exit out of this and maximize this window. But within the scene and within the rig that you'll be saving out as the final rig, there's a little bit organization, or more organization, that you should do. So, whenever you have a character being sent out, in the pose position, everything should be within the neutral position. That's just general practice. Rest position is this switch right here is for the animators to use. Not sure why the animators would really use it, but you know, it is there for them. I suppose maybe it's to see where the pieces on the character originally are. That's the only thing I can think of. Anyway, with this we have layers, and I usually put all deformation bones, or all bones of the same type or same level, on a layer. So if you press, or if you select all the bones and press M, you can change which layer they're on. I know some rigs that have all the deformation bones in the right side here, and then all the controller bones in the left side here. Something I forgot to mention earlier, which, I mean, if I was professional, I would have not forgotten, is turning on and off deformation for each type of bone. So in these controllers, because I don't want their bones to deform the mesh, I only want their bones to control other bones, I have to turn off deform. I should have mentioned this way earlier. I apologize. Within this layers thing, bone groups is an add-on which you might want to use instead of layers, but that's a side tangent. And I'm not going to go into that now. With layers, if I move all of these bones to another layer, they'll become hidden because they're not on the active layer. I can click and switch in between layers, or I can press Shift and I can have multiple layers open at once. And of course, everything works with drivers and so forth between layers. Excuse me. Protected layers do something a little bit different. Protected layers basically protect the bones from the touch of the animators. So because this second layer that I have right now is whether or not it's because it's deformation bones and I don't want the animators to touch those directly, I'm going to turn on the protected layers. And so what that'll do is it'll lock all the direct controls for all of these objects. Also, if I went in with objects that are linked, if I went in and I locked or unlocked some of these layers, so let's say I want to have this bone only move within the location X, I can lock the rest of these, and now within pose mode nothing can be scaled, nothing can be rotated, and if it was a protected layer I would not be able to add constraints to this object, nor I believe would I be able to move it. But that is something that I have to go through and test individually. I must apologize for not having that knowledge in the forefront. With more advanced rigs, a lot of the times you will be working with bones that are stacked directly on top of each other for one reason or another. If I go up here to Object, Active Elements, then I can scale bones down, not by the center, but by their root. So you can see that I can duplicate objects and scale them down on top of each other. This is usually only used for arms and legs and IK switches, which arms and legs and IK switches are done through the same process of creating a variable and using that variable to influence different things. Anyway, I believe that's pretty much all. Just when you have a finished rig, when you're building up a rig, please always have a consistent axis for rotation. So on the fingers and on the arms and any sort of hinge, I would recommend always using local Z, just because it makes things so much easier to always have a consistent thing. And then for me personally, I always have the X in the positive direction of that hinge. So in terms of the arm, the Z would be pointing, if I have my arm out left to right, the Z would be pointing sort of like a door hinge on either side of the bone. And then this X would be pointing out from the outside of my elbow. For fingers, you would do exactly the same thing, where you would just have the Z along those rotation axes. However, depending on the project that you're working on, this may change. For my projects, I always do Z. However, I've seen people use X exclusively for one reason or another. I'm not sure. I'm really not. I can't tell you what is truly right or wrong. Just talk with whoever your project director is and make sure that's all cleaned up before you start rigging, because dear God, it can lead to some problems, especially when you're animating in between rigs and you want rigs to affect each other in certain ways. Anyway, I believe that is all, and I will let you go at it. If you're in my team, we're going to be working on rigging 2 different cameras, one with a person and one with a pure camera mount. And we'll also be adding in, using influence and the transform constraints, realistic banking, or not really realistic, but banking to the camera depending on where the camera is pointing. Alright? Thank you.